Hello and welcome to another video. I don't know why I do it. I bought a broken mini disc player, but it is probably one of my favourite mini disc players. I have one just here and I was using it today because that one has been in my what I call my go bag, my dad's bag, which is the bag with a load of bits in I can just grab and take with me when I need to. But the volume down button on that isn't working, which is no big deal, and it was having trouble finding tracks today. But I didn't know that when I ordered this. I think I paid £18 plus postage. I'll put it up on the screen. And they said it was in a really good condition, but let's have a look. Oh, it is. It's in pretty good condition, but it doesn't work. MZ-N900. So let's have a look, see whether it's any battery leakage. It doesn't look too bad. It is in good condition. I've got another one which is in worse condition than this, but it doesn't work at all, no power whatsoever. So first things first, let's have a quick look in there. Wow, that's clean. Okay, I have a battery fully charged here. I'm having problems with batteries. It always seems to be low battery even though they're fully charged. Play button. Ooh, I heard it. Okay, let's grab the remote. That's a weird sound. Let me sit down. Okay, let's put the remote in. Here it is. See what it says on the remote now. Ah, remote's not working. Head is not retracting all the way. Alright. I can hear it clicking away, but nothing's happening. Alright, okay. Oh, it says low battery. It's literally been in a charger and it says full. I think my batteries have had it. But I have a solution for that. It's one of these. In America they call this a AA sidecar. I don't like that word. It's just a battery adapter. Okay, let's see what goes on now. Well, it's going to work. If I put a disc in it, it's going to work much better. There we go. That does not sound right. Okay, disc error, so you can't find the table of contents. Okay, let's do the usual. I've moved the laser assembly over to the right hand side. When I shut this, hopefully it will move back to the left hand side. No disc. Yeah, of course it's got a disc detect switch in there somewhere. So without a disc it's not going to move it, I guess. It was making that sound before when it thought it had a low battery. I think this battery's okay, but so it should be able to move that laser assembly all the way to the other side, and it can't. So right in the back, as usual, we've got like a worm gear. It doesn't look right, so where's my other one? God, look at the dust in there. Right, so I've moved this one all the way over, well, part of the way over. I'm just going to pull the disc out now. And it does move itself on the way back, so let me just move this across. I just want to compare the two gears right at the back. This one's filthy inside, isn't it? There you go, so that's what it looks like, and we'll look at this one as well. Okay. Yeah, it looks about the same, doesn't it? So I think what we'll do is put a little bit of oil on that. I usually use a lithium grease I've got, but I've got a funny feeling it might be too viscous. I don't think it is white lithium grease, it's like a more of a brown colour. So I'm going to use a little bit of hair clipper oil just for the time being. Let's see if I can get it working. Be back in a bit. Right, so I've got some of this hair clipper oil. I'm going to put it on the end of my letter opener, like that. And I can reach right into there, and it's going to be hard to show you, but I do not want to drop it on the wrong place. So I'm up to do it off camera. Yeah, that was rather too much, I think. So I've just dumped it on the end. On the end of that gear. I'm going to have to manually move this laser sled over now. There we go. Now I've still got a little bit of oil on the end of my letter opener. I'm going to try and get it in on there. Don't know whether that's going to make any difference. Just plug this back in, plug the battery holder back on again. Pop a disc in, different disc, never mind. Makes some very weird grinding noises. Okay, it's all the way over this side now, so I'm going to move it back a bit and see whether it's moving or if it's see whether it moves itself. No disc, okay. Maybe I shouldn't have put one of my favourite discs in here, who knows. That sounds awful. Yeah, that laser assembly hasn't moved, so you know what, I'm going to take it to pieces. It's 8:45 PM. I shouldn't be embarking on another one of these jobs right now. That's interesting. I can only take the top off, I can't take the bottom off because there's no screws on it. Ta-da! So let's have a good look then. Should have done this in the first place, much easier. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I remember taking one of these apart before. I think you have to undo this screw and another one somewhere, and it comes apart this way. I don't really want to take it apart though, so let's give the laser a good clean while we're here. While we're at it, we might as well clean up this gear. If I use isopropyl alcohol on it, I can only get to half of it, of course, the top half. That will clean off any of the old grease. We also need to do this sled rail here. Let's zoom in a bit. This bit that it runs on. No, I don't think I can get. Yeah, I can get in there. I'll get the lithium grease I've got, which isn't the right stuff, but I'll get it anyway. Oh, look at that. Oh, I forgot the battery's still in there, isn't it? There we go. Let's get the lithium grease out. That's way too much. Okay, there's also a gear inside there, down here somewhere, but I can't see that right now. And the only way to get that out is to take the whole thing out, and I'm not going to go to that trouble for it. So let's pretend to put the lid back on. Pop a disc in. I don't think that's even moving across. Oh, it has a little bit. Yeah, it has moved over a little bit. It was all the way to the right hand side as we look at it. I'm going to let that get on with it because I want to get the other one out. So, yeah, the other broken one I've already put back together. So I might as well take this one to pieces. Well, there you go. Looks pretty clean in there. Looking pretty beaten up. Oh, I see. There's a bit of the bottom that needs lubricating as well. Right, so as this tiny little motor here spins these gears, let's tuck that out of the way for a second, there we go. That gear spins this gear, and underneath that, if you can see it, is another gear that turns this shaft here. That's the right word for it, isn't it? It feels nice from there, but that shaft obviously has to pivot in there and at the other end. So I guess that's the bit we ought to be oiling. So, not knowing what else to do, and obviously that needs oiling as well. Okay, so ribbon cable looking okay. This one though is in a right state. Yeah, I'm not an expert, as you might already know. Close up of the laser assembly. Let's put it all together, see whether that's completely killed it or not. Let's have a quick look here first. Sorry if you missed me putting that ribbon cable in there. This is the cable that is responsible for driving the motors. And that's probably the hardest one to put back in again. Excellent. Oh, hang on. There's another catch there it's got to go under. Okay. Right, that was a bit of a struggle. Disc. Battery pack. Remote, so we can see what's going on. Never work again, probably. Still doesn't sound very healthy. Okay, do not do this at home. This is my working player, only the volume up button isn't working. And what I've done is there's a battery in there. There's the laser sled there. This switch on the left hand side is the lid close detection switch. Do not try this at home. I'm going to activate that. I'm not looking at the player. I'm looking at my phone screen, so I can't get lasers in my eyes. I'm going to activate this and we'll see how it moves. Okay, I think that's just enough for it to detect that there's no disc in there. The laser went up and down, so I guess it's looking for some sort of reflection, any data at all. So when it closes, I wonder if it said no disc. Okay, let's have a look. Let's try it again. Excellent, yeah. So it notices that the laser sled should move all the way to the left to read the table of contents. But what it's doing is it's shining the laser and it's not bouncing back into the receiver. Then it knows there's no disc in there. Okay, so this is the really old unit I bought that I never could get to work. And it's plugged into the remote there. And when you turn the remote on, there's very faint lines come up on here, and that's the bottom board activating. Now, what I figured out is it won't do anything unless the lid is closed. In the video just before this, you saw with my working one, when you press the lid close switch down, the laser bobs about and then detects whether there's a disc in there. And in this case, it doesn't. So it's hard to illustrate that, but I'm going to manually activate this switch, and you'll be able to see that it doesn't actually do anything. So when I activate this switch and press the play button, nothing happens. That laser doesn't move, but we do see those faint lines on the display while it's waiting for that switch to be depressed, and they go off. So this switch isn't working. Now this black part here is the laser assembly and the motors that move the spindle and the laser backwards and forwards, and that comes out, leaving the circuit board behind it. This laser assembly is from the disc I had delivered yesterday, because today's another day. So I've swapped those over completely. So this one, I think the switch is working. It isn't working. The switch isn't working on this one. So this is the one I took delivery of yesterday, but the black part is the insert from the one that I never did get to work. The one which I think now has a dodgy lid close switch. So I'm going to activate that switch now by pushing down on here. I'm going to look at the camera screen, but not and be shielded from the laser. So don't do this at home, because I don't want you damaging your eyes. People say you can't damage your eyes unless you look directly at the laser. but it's not worth the risk. So I'm going to close the lid now and watch what happens. You can actually see the laser working there, tiny little speck of light, and it's spinning around. It's trying to detect a disc. So what that means to me is the lid detect switch on this one that I bought yesterday is working, and this laser assembly, it seems to be working as well. And I think on the screen it says no disc. Let's try it. No disc, excellent. So that lid detect switch is a safety feature, I think. So I'm going to put the disc in, and I'm going to close that down, and you'll be able to see the disc spinning, I think. So it's sort of spinning backwards and forwards while the laser tries to find the table of contents, perhaps. And then it's going to give us a disk error. Disk error, there you go. So on this one, what I think is happening is the switch is working clearly. This black part is from the old player that I never could get working, but that appears to be working properly. So what I suspect is happening is the blue board at the bottom, which interprets the data. So the laser has a ribbon cable which goes into the blue board at the bottom. That blue board at the bottom is not working properly. It's not the ribbon cables, because the ribbon cables are attached to this unit, and it works exactly the same with its original black part. So my guess is something with the main circuit board on this unit is not working properly, and it can't detect any data coming from the laser. Let me correct myself. This can detect whether there's a disc in now, and the switch can detect whether the switch is closed. But when the disc is in there, it can't read the data from the disc. So either there's a problem with the control board, which controls the motors that spin this around and move this, or there's some other problem which I think is on the main circuit board at the bottom underneath the black bit. So what I think I'll do now is put all the screws back in. This is my one working player, but the volume up button doesn't work, so I have to take the wired remote with me when I'm using it. But getting the volume buttons out is a nightmare. So here's the buttons on this button assembly. Those are on the case, but the push buttons are inside, and the lid detect switch is there, and that and the sensors for these buttons are all part of the same unit, and this part, and it goes down here somewhere. And what I think I need to do is use that part from the most recent one I've bought, and the bottom board from the oldest one I bought, and those are the working components I think I've got. But I don't know how I'm going to do that, because it's really hard to get this assembly out, and I can't get the board out until I get this assembly out. So basically I've got to take the whole thing apart. This original one is in quite poor condition, so essentially I've got to take the blue board out of this one, transplant it into this one, because the switch works on this one. But in order to get the blue part out, I need to get the whole switch assembly, the button assembly out as well, because the blue board is underneath the button assembly. In order to fix my working one, which is 99% working, I've got to get everything. I've got to get the whole buttons circuit board behind these buttons out to figure out why the volume up button isn't working. So it's just like too much work when I've got other players like this one, which although it's thicker because it's a recorder, it's got a display on, so I don't need to carry the remote around with me. This one works fine. So I think I might set these aside, just use this one with the remote when I want to go really lightweight. Set the other ones aside for another day because I'm very time limited at the moment. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.